A 3-0 lead after the first leg is a dream advantage for any team, but if the return leg is being played at the Bernabeu, things need to be looked at very carefully. Toni Kroos issued a warning that couldn't have been clearer. Arsenal must understand that the first 15 minutes will be absolutely decisive. They have to make Real Madrid feel like this tie is far from over. This isn't just a warning, it's wisdom born from Real Madrid's own glorious past. This is a club that has made a habit of coming back from the dead in the blink of an eye. Think back to those iconic comebacks. Barcelona in 2017, Liverpool in 2019. Both turned safe score lines of 0-3 or 0-4 into dramatic victories by striking early. Real Madrid are especially dangerous in the opening 20 minutes of the second half. In this year's Champions League, they've scored 11 goals during that exact window, nearly 40% of their total. That means Arsenal must be sharp from the opening whistle and remain laser-focused even when it feels like the match is under control. Toni Kroos said it plainly, it only takes 5 or 6 minutes to lose everything. So the best strategy? Seize control in the first 15. That's not just advice, it's a serious message from a man who's won the Champions League 6 times, someone who knows exactly how suffocating the pressure can be at the Bernabeu, especially when the home side is backed into a corner. Yes, 3-0 is a massive lead, but football, especially in the Champions League, is never predictable. One lapse in concentration can flip the script in an instant, Kroos added. You need to make Arsenal, an inexperienced team at this stage of the competition, playing away in Madrid, believe that this game is still very much alive. If Arsenal want to avoid disaster, they'll need to remember an old but timeless lesson. Never lose focus, not even for a second. Just look at 2019. Liverpool were 3-0 down to Barcelona, but in just 7 minutes at Anfield, Origi scored the opener, and the stage was set for one of the greatest turnarounds in history. Or think of Barca in 2017 against PSG. Suarez found the net in the 3rd minute, kickstarting the most iconic remontada the Champions League has ever seen. The common thread? Early goals didn't just change the score, they flipped the emotional and psychological balance of the match. Real Madrid only need one early goal to reignite hope and to shake Arsenal's confidence to its core. Kroos was honest about it. When Madrid are behind, there's always a stretch where you just know they're going to score, even if there's only 5, 6, or 7 minutes left. That's why Arsenal must be just as composed in the final 15 minutes as they are in the first 15. Real Madrid are masters of the late-game miracle. Rodrigo scored twice in stoppage time to knock out Man City in 2022, and Haaland came off the bench to bag a brace in the dying minutes that sent Bayern packing last season. Plenty of teams have watched their seasons slip away in the final minutes because they let their guard down, but this season Real Madrid aren't just dangerous at the end. They can punish you from the very beginning, in the middle, or in those moments when you think the game is already in your hands. Let's back it up. 11 of Real Madrid's goals this season have come in the first 20 minutes of the second half, from the 45th to the 65th minute, accounting for nearly 40% of their Champions League total. That dominance says a lot, especially when compared to the rest of the match. It's clear that Ancelotti and his players are making the right tactical and mental adjustments during halftime to explode right as the second half begins. And those shifts are what allow Real Madrid to crank up the pressure in the game's most critical moments. On top of that, over 25% of Madrid's goals this season have come in the final 10 minutes. That means if Los Blancos find a way to score early in the second half and raise the tempo, the closing stages could turn into an absolute nightmare for Arsenal. This is exactly the kind of game Real Madrid loves, where they control space, time, and emotion. That's why Ancelotti doesn't need to say much. He just emphasizes one thing: we will fight until the last second, until the last ball. At Real Madrid, every moment is tactical. They don't wait for chances, they create them, inch by inch. So even though Arsenal come in with a big lead and red-hot form, there's one truth they have to accept. This isn't the Emirates. This is the Santiago Bernabeu. And here, to reach the semi-finals, they'll need more than a strong lineup. They'll need ice in their veins and nerves of steel. Because with Real Madrid, one blink could change everything. And if you blink twice, you might not get another chance. If you need proof, just look at the Premier League giants who've crumbled at the Bernabeu. Chelsea in 2022 were up 3-0 by the 80th minute, only to be pegged back and knocked out. Manchester City that same year were 2 minutes away from the final before conceding twice and falling in extra time. And Liverpool? They led Real 2-0 at Anfield but ended up losing 2-5, all because they underestimated the kings of Europe. Yes, Arsenal have the upper hand, but at the Bernabeu, no one is ever truly safe. History shows you don't need to make mistakes for 90 minutes, just one is enough to pay the price. A 3-0 advantage is huge, but when you're playing the full 90 in Madrid, anything can happen. The strongest teams in England, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, Tottenham, have all come here with confidence, a plan, even a lead. Most of them left with nothing but regret. If Arsenal want to keep their Champions League dream alive, they'd be wise to learn from the past. Chelsea know it best. In 2021/22, they arrived in Madrid trailing 1-3. No one believed in a miracle until they went up 3-0 and looked set for the semi-finals. But then, one moment of magic. Modric with an unbelievable pass, Rodrigo with a delicate finish, and Benzema sealing it in extra time. Chelsea didn't play badly, they just blinked, and that was all it took. That same season, City won the first leg 4-3. In the second leg, Mahrez scored in the 73rd minute to make it 5-3 on aggregate. Real needed 2 goals just to force extra time, and they did the unthinkable. Rodrigo scored twice in 90 seconds, minute 90 and 90+1. Then came extra time, Benzema drew a penalty and buried it. Guardiola once again left in disbelief. Now it's Arsenal's turn to walk into the Bernabeu with a 3-goal cushion. But if they think the semi-final door is wide open, they're making a fatal mistake. Real Madrid don't need a full half to strike back. Sometimes a few minutes is all they need. They'll throw everything into this: tactics, mentality, and unwavering belief. The name Juanito will echo again, a symbol of that never-say-die spirit. The Bernabeu roof will close in like a thunderous cage where the whole world holds its breath. Psychologists are being brought in to replay legendary comebacks. The media is flooding the airwaves with talk of that infamous Champions League DNA. And then there are the sacred stats. Real Madrid haven't lost a home game on Easter Wednesday in the 21st century. The upcoming match, by Madrid time, falls exactly on that night. In today's data-driven game, Real Madrid still choose to play with faith. And at the Bernabeu, where belief and legacy merge, anything is possible. There's even that one surreal story of fans and reporters who once gathered at Tonin Torero bar with a Ouija board, trying to summon the spirit of Juanito before a Copa del Rey match against Atletico. Of course, no miracle came that night. Real were knocked out. But the story became a symbol of Madrid's unwavering belief. So much so that years later, the son of journalist Roberto Gomez had to say, "Please, let my father rest in peace," because every time his name is invoked, Real seem to lose. Now ahead of this second leg against Arsenal, trailing 0-3, the spirit is being reignited. Madridistas know that tactics alone won't be enough. They need something explosive, something irrational but organized, and everything is being prepared down to the smallest detail. First up, the Bernabeu roof. Rumors are flying. Real may request UEFA permission to close the stadium roof for this match. It's not a first. Last season, they did it 7 times across La Liga and the Champions League with stunning results. A comeback against Bayern, a dramatic draw with City. It might sound superstitious, but the roof trap sound turning the Bernabeu into a massive pressure cooker. Over 80,000 fans screaming inside a closed dome, hitting noise levels above 130 decibels, enough to rattle any visiting side. Even Ancelotti admitted, closing the roof creates a different atmosphere. Bigger, louder, more intense, like a fire igniting the players. Inside the club, psychologists have launched a mental campaign. Players are watching past comebacks: PSG, Chelsea, City, Wolfsburg. Meanwhile, the press has joined in, shifting away from tactical breakdowns to full-on emotional fuel. Real Madrid's courage, their character, their mystical Champions League moments. Someone even pulled up this strange stat: since 2000, and yes, this second leg falls on that exact night. Sometimes what seems irrational becomes reality, and that's exactly how Real Madrid are turning this second leg against Arsenal into a ritual of belief. Not based on football logic, but on raw emotion, destiny, and maybe, just maybe, a miracle. French referee François Letexier will take charge of the match. a familiar face to Real Madrid, one who has brought both fortune and controversy. And if emotions start to dictate play, this is exactly where Arsenal must be on high alert. The Bernabéu is a place where Real Madrid manipulate opponents' minds with every trick in the book. Simulation, referee pressure, slowing down the tempo. Arsenal know all too well what it feels like to be on the wrong end of officiating. The infamous red card to Van Persie in 2011 still stings for Gunners fans. That's why Arsenal must keep a cool head. No overreactions, no taking the bait. Latexir officiated Real's last 4 Champions League games, wins over Chelsea and Napoli, a draw with Man City, and a loss to Liverpool. The Gunners have the advantage, but behind every glimmer of hope there are traps in the dark, and a single misstep could cost them their entire season. Real Madrid's Champions League legend isn't just built on stunning comebacks, it's built on controversy. Just ask Bayern Munich in 2017, when Casemiro escaped a red card and Vidal was sent off. Ask Juventus in 2018 when a stoppage-time penalty made even Buffon lose his cool. And while the calls aren't always wrong, like that penalty, which was legitimate, the aura around Madrid is forever laced with debate. Arsenal, too, have felt the sting. That second leg against Barca in 2011, Van Persie was sent off with the score tied 1-1 simply for taking a shot after an offside whistle he claimed he couldn't even hear. Barca went on to score 2 more, knocking Arsenal out amid a cloud of controversy. Every team that walks into the Bernabeu must remember this. Real don't just play with skill, they weaponize emotion. They'll dive, they'll shout, they'll turn up the pressure, and if Rice or anyone makes a hard tackle, the whole stadium will roar for a card. Arsenal can't fall for it. If anyone is to lose their head, it has to be Real. If anyone loses control, it cannot be Arsenal. The best response to provocation? Silence. A goal. A cold-blooded interception. Arsenal must keep their focus, especially their core players like Declan Rice, Saliba, and Saka, key gears in the pressing machine. Lose just one and the system can falter. Partey was already injured against Brentford. Arteta must rotate wisely, avoid turning effort into recklessness. And then there's Carlo Ancelotti, the calm figure on the touchline, always with 100 ideas swirling behind that furrowed brow. His frown isn't worry, it's calculation. Every time Real equalize, that frown melts into a knowing smirk, the kind that's brought down Chelsea, City, PSG with moves that seem simple but are ruthlessly effective. Arsenal cannot be the next victim. Rio don't need to dominate for 90 minutes, they just need one Mbappe turn, one Rudiger header, one successful press. That's enough to reset everything. The Gunners must play like they're trailing. Every touch must carry the weight of a final. No daydreaming, no trembling, no complacency. They have to lock down the box, control the counters, and most of all, commit the smart fouls. Play dirty if they must, not for beauty but survival. Remember Barca. Remember PSG, both stood on the edge of paradise, only to fall from a moment's lapse. A rushed throw-in, a slow turn, a split second of inattention, and all of it was lost. Now, Arsenal must carve those lessons into their hearts. Don't look at the 3-0 score and breathe easy. This is the real battle. At the Bernabeu, even the smallest mistake can cut through hope like a blade. Rio don't need to dominate possession, they just need a moment. That legendary Ramos header in the 93rd minute against Atletico, one Rodrigo leap, one shoulder from Tchouaméni. That's all it takes to rewrite the script. Arsenal must fight as if every ball is their last. It's not just about aerial duels. It's those sudden, savage pressing traps, the kind that rattled Manchester City from one simple turnover. At the Bernabeu, it's not the pass or the shot that decides the game, it's the composure, the precision, the rhythm, the calm. That's the most important weapon of all. The Bernabeu isn't just a stadium, it's a furnace of emotion where the psychological stakes are maxed out. If Arsenal let themselves get dragged into the chaos, if they start playing off emotion, off instinct, it'll be suicide. They have to control the match, break its rhythm, commit the tactical foul, all for one purpose: survival. This time, people believe in Arsenal, not just because it's 3-0, but because they made Real Madrid gasp for breath. They played like they were ready to wear the European crown. If they can hold on to that identity, step into the Bernabeu with poise, Not arrogance, but zero fear. They'll move on. And this time, no one will dare call Arsenal naive. Real Madrid are preparing a ritual. And Arsenal? They're standing before a door. Behind that door, the Champions League semi-finals. Legacy. A statement to the world. We are not the same team anymore. And to walk through it, they need just one thing: cold blood. Because the Bernabeu is no place for dreamers. It belongs to the teams who know how to kill the miracle before it ever begins.